नमस्कार बहनों और भाइयों एंड नॉन बाइनरी फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप? स्वागत है आपका चिल टाइम में क्यू एन ए। सो दिस चिल टाइम हम थोड़ा आपके प्रश्नों के उत्तर देंगे और साथ में ड्राइंग भी करेंगे और साथ में आते जाते ट्रैफिक की और कंस्ट्रक्शन की आवाज़ें भी सुनेंगे। वेलकम टू KKB ASMR. My ASMR contains of not the sound of brush or paper scraping, none of that. Construction and truck noises. Hi. So, let's begin. So हम लोग वापस अपने blue sketchbook पे आ गए हैं, which you have seen in the last episode. So let's begin with question number 1. Question number 1. Kyare Aavas. कल आता हूँ. Question number 2. What is your work style? Your work style is known as. So my work style is known as मेरा style है. Can you hear those truck sounds? Can you hear the traffic? Ooh, so soothing. Yeah, so my work style is known as Mera style hai. I don't have a name for this. It's just something I did in my final year. So, interesting story. I don't know if I said this story before. मुझे नहीं मालूम मैंने कहानी आपको पहले सुनाई है या नहीं. अगर वापस सुना रहा हूँ तो सह लीजिए, थोड़ा बोरिंग लगे आपको कहानी, पर हियर वी गो. सो हमारे ग्राफिक डिपार्टमेंट में ग्रुप डिस्कशन नहीं होते थे. अगर होते होंगे तो मुझे नॉलेज नहीं है उस बात की, लेकिन जनरल कंसेशन इसके नहीं होते थे. और जब हम लोग फर्स्ट ईयर का एंड हुआ और हम लोग फाइनल ईयर में आए इन मास्टर्स, तो हमारे टीचर्स ने इनिशिएटिव लिया कि एक ग्रुप डिस्कशन होना चाहिए. अब टीचर्स ने लिया या फिर कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने लिया वो मुझे याद नहीं है ज़्यादा डिटेल. तो अगर किसी स्टूडेंट का इनिशिएटिव था, मेरे किसी क्लासमेट का इनिशिएटिव था, देन थैंक यू फॉर डूइंग दिस. आई एम सॉरी आई डोंट रिमेंबर योर नेम or don't remember the incident that way. Comments में ज़रूर बताइए. So ग्रुप डिस्कशन हुआ अच्छे से, सब स्केड्यूल करके कि क्या काम दिखाएंगे. एंड उस समय क्योंकि मैं अप्लाइड से आया था, अप्लाइड से मैं फिर ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन से फिर मैं ग्राफिक आर्ट्स, प्रिंट मेकिंग की तरफ आया, विच इज़ अ वेरी फाइन आर्ट फील्ड. Because you are the artist who has to design the prints and design the plates. So it's very selfish, very you process, right? It's a very self art. Whereas in graphic design, आपको एक brief दिया जाता है, उसके बेस पे आप creativity दिखाते. तो I was really struggling in my first year in graphics. क्योंकि पता ही चल रहा था, बहुत सारे आइडियाज़ उसी तरह के आ रहे थे कि मुझे भी पता चल रहा था कि यार आई एम नॉट पुशिंग माई सेल्फ इज़ वॉट आई वॉन्ट टू से. लाइक आई वॉज़न्ट पुशिंग माई सेल्फ बियॉन्ड वॉट आई नो एंड मूव इवन फर्दर. तो ग्रुप डिस्कशन हुआ और जब मेरी बारी आई तब आई ऑलरेडी हैड 5 डायरेक्शन के मैं मेरा काम किस डायरेक्शन में लेके जाऊँ. I was so confused at that time, and like literally I started group discussion with along the lines of I'm not here to impress anyone, I'm not here to show my work, I'm here to genuinely ask question that what should I do. तो ये मेरे 10 अप्रोचेस है, 5-10 अप्रोचेस है जिस तरह से मैं अलग अलग, और सब अलग अलग है. तो मुझे नहीं पता मैं किसे ज़्यादा परस्यू करूँ. And teachers said their thing, other students participated, they said that thing. And I was like, okay, taking notes. Our head of department was there. He said, oh, why don't you explore this direction? So I was like, okay, that's final, I'm going to do that. And then by the end, I realized, I have a sketchbook which I was working on for a while, but I didn't show anyone. So I was like, by the way, I completely forgot about this. What do you think of this drawings as well? This is also another direction which I'm interested, but I didn't know, like, should I pursue it? और तीनों हमारे टीचर्स ने देखा और कहा कि यही तो तुम्हारा बारूद है, बारूद के ऊपर बैठे हो, यही तो करना है तुमको, ये सब क्या है, छोड़ो ये सब छोड़ो, यही करो. And the drawings were like this, but more finer, like more how you know me as. ये तो मैं एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहा हूँ और ब्रेक कर रहा हूँ कि मेरे ही लाइंस को कि और कैसे मैं इसको एक्सप्लोर कर सकता हूँ. बट दोज ड्राइंग्स वर वेरी लाइक डिटेल्ड एंड वेरी क्लीन लाइंस एंड ऑल. तो उन्हें बोला, अरे यही तो है, यही तो तुम हो, मतलब इसको करो. एंड आई रिमेंबर माई डीन सेड लाइक, बहुत दिनों से मैं देख रहा हूँ कि तुम ये ड्राइंग कर रहे हो. और उस समय मैं बोला नहीं, पर मुझे तुम्हारा ये ड्राइंग ज़्यादा पसंद है, तो तुम इसी को करो. एंड दैट वाज लाइक ओके, नोटेड. और पूरा नेक्स्ट ईयर, पूरा फाइनल ईयर मैंने सिर्फ यही एक्सप्लोर किया, लाइन ड्राइंग्स. और तब जाके वो काम बने जो आप आज देख रहे हैं, या फिर जो मेरे इंस्टाग्राम प्रोफाइल पे आप देख रहे हैं, द डिज़ाइन स्टूडियो 1. वो प्रोफाइल पे मैंने मोस्टली मेरे काम रखे हैं. सो या, पर कभी मैंने नाम नहीं दिया है अपने काम को. आई वुड लाइक टू हैव माई ओन वॉइस, बट I do understand I don't have any name for this. It's just who I am. Even in my bio, like when जब आर्टिस्ट बायो लिखने का बारी आया, तब मैंने ऐसा ही कुछ along this lines ही कुछ लिखा था कि this is just who I am. And कुछ सोचा नहीं है इस चीज़ को लेके, बस वही चीज़ है कि this is just myself, my past, के मैं ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन का हूँ, इसलिए मुझे लाइंस, ग्रेड्स, पैटर्न्स बहुत पसंद है. लेकिन ग्राफिक आर्ट्स, प्रिंट मेकिंग में आने के बाद जो मुझे एक्सप्लोर करने को मिला, वो एक्सप्लोरेशन भी मैं हूँ. तो ये एक तरीके से मैं ही हूँ, ये मेरा ही एक एक्सटेंशन है. That's how I see it. But yeah, I don't have a name for this. Also, back in the day, like people who have been following me for a while have seen some of the stories, because this is the most frequently asked question. मैं आपको ये भी सजेस्ट करूँगा कि आप मेरे इंस्टाग्राम पे जाइए, उसके बायो में एक लिंक है NGL करके, उसमें आप मुझे एनोनिमसली मैसेजेस भेज सकते हैं, क्वेश्चंस भेज सकते हैं, वीडियो के आइडियाज़ भेज सकते हैं, कन्फेशंस भेज सकते हैं. और मुझे नहीं पता चलेगा कि ये किसने भेजा है, तो यू कैन रियली बी ऑनेस्ट फ्रॉम योर हार्ट. तो ऐसा ही मैं पहले Q&A किया करता था, लाइव स्ट्रीम किया करता था. तो उसमें भी ये सवाल बहुत बार पॉपअप होता है कि आपकी आर्ट स्टाइल को क्या कहते हैं. एंड उस समय मैंने एक आंसर दिया था, जो लंबे समय तक मेरा यही आंसर रहा है कि ये मैं हूँ और वो सब. लेकिन साथ में मैं एंड में एक नोट भी लगा देता था कि ये सवाल अपने आप में मुझे बड़ा अजीब लगता है कि आज के टाइम में जब हर आर्टिस्ट अपना एक अलग डायरेक्शन एक्सप्लोर कर रहा है, तो ऐसे टाइम में किसी आर्ट को, स्पेशली जो कंटेम्प्रेरी आर्ट प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, जैसे मैं हूँ और मेरे जो क्लासमेट्स है वो प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, वो कुछ सोच के ट्रेडिशन या फिर उस तरीके से काम नहीं करते, बस वो अपने आप को एक एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो ये सवाल बड़ा रिडंडेंट है कि आपकी आर्ट स्टाइल को क्या कहते हैं, और या फिर ये काम आपने किससे इंस्पायर होके बनाया या फिर क्या करके, बिकॉज स्पेशली व्हेन यू आस्क दिस टू अ यंग स्टूडेंट और अ यंग आर्टिस्ट, बिकॉज उनके पास जवाब नहीं होता। आप इस तरह से सवाल पूछते हो तो काफ़ी बार वो भी कंफ्यूज हो जाता है कि क्या मेरे पास एक ऐसा जवाब होना चाहिए, क्या मुझे किसी को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। एंड ट्रूथ इज नो, जस्ट हैव अ वॉइस एंड एक्सप्लोर इट। इफ़ यू वांट टू फॉलो समवन, प्लीज़ डू, क्योंकि आप उन्हीं से ही सीखोगे। लाइक अब मैं ये स्टेज पे हूँ कि मैं जो मेरे फेवरेट आर्टिस्ट है, मैं उनका कलर स्टडी करता हूँ, मैं उनके लाइन स्टडी करता हूँ। कीट हैरिंग आई एम वेरी इंस्पायर्ड बाय, बास्क्वे आई एम वेरी इंस्पायर्ड बाय। तो मैं उनके कलर्स, उसके लाइंस को समझने की कोशिश करता हूँ मेरे तरीके से, और उसमें मैं मेरा कुछ ढूंढता हूँ। पर ये मेरा सुनने में थोड़ा रूड लग सकता है, लेकिन मेरा इंटेंशन रूड नहीं है जब मैं ये कहता हूँ कि आप यंग आर्टिस्ट से ऐसा मत पूछे कि आपके आर्ट स्टाइल को क्या कहते हैं। आप उल्टा ऐसा पूछे कि आपने क्या बनाया, आप मुझे वो बताइए, ये आर्ट वर्क में आप क्या कह रहे हैं, मुझे वो बताइए। एंड दैट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू हैव दोज कॉन्वर्सेशंस। एंड एज अ स्टूडेंट आई नो इट्स वेरी इजियर सेड देन डन, बिकॉज एज अ स्टूडेंट मैं भी थोड़ा एनॉय हो जाऊँगा कि यार क्यों बताऊँ मैं ये सब, लेकिन it's a very important communication skill to have. So even if it's annoying, you still have to talk with people. I know how I phrased it, so but yeah, like you have to talk with people and have a communication skill. So yeah, let people ask questions and people go ahead and ask questions. Go to exhibitions, और जो भी आर्ट वर्क आपको इम्प्रेसिव लगे या फिर आपकी एक क्यूरियोसिटी जागती है, आप बात कीजिए। अगर आर्टिस्ट नहीं है तो क्यूरेटर से बात कीजिए, या फिर जो भी वहाँ पे अवेलेबल है उनको स्टाफ में, वो आपको कुछ ना कुछ जवाब तो दे ही देंगे, या फिर आर्टिस्ट से कांटेक्ट भी करा देंगे, ताकि आप एक बॉन्ड डेवलप कर सको एज अ व्यूअर एंड एन आर्टिस्ट। सो या लाइक मेरे को नहीं मालूम मेरे आर्ट स्टाइल को क्या कहते हैं। Comment below what you think my art style should be called. But मैं वो सब जगह यूज़ नहीं करूँगा। It's just for us, आप और मेरे बीच का चीज़ है कि आप कमेंट्स में लिखिए कि मेरी आर्ट स्टाइल का नाम क्या है। I'm actually curious to know how everyone perceives it. क्योंकि मैं एक नज़र से देखता हूँ, हो सकता है आप अलग नज़र से देखते हो, तो I'll be very interesting to know. So comment down below. Moving on. Passports. Please recommend some good art related movies or TV shows. Good question. Thank you very much for the question. Number 1, लविंग विंसेंट ज़रूर देखिए अगर आपने नहीं देखा है तो। मुझे पता है मेरे कुछ दोस्तों ने नहीं देखा है, क्यों नहीं देखा, आप मेरे दोस्त हो तो ज़रूर देखिए। या लविंग विंसेंट, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स। मैं लिंक्स डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दूँगा ताकि आप अपने हिसाब से गूगल कर सके, या फिर आप अगर मुझे डायरेक्ट लिंक मिलता है तो मैं डायरेक्टली लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दूंगा। सो प्लीज़ चेक द डिस्क्रिप्शन। सो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट बाय नेटफ्लिक्स, इट हैज़ 2 सीजन्स। सीजन 1 तो भाई साहब मतलब बट इन द सेम स्टाइल वी हैव ब्लूमबर्ग ब्रिलियंट आइडियाज़ एंड इट्स ऑन यूट्यूब। बहुत देखा भाई, ब्लूमबर्ग ब्रिलियंट आइडियाज़ इज़ लाइक the best TV show for artists. कॉलेज में बहुत देखा। It's like more than 40 episodes or something, और each episode is dedicated to one artist, और उनकी हिस्ट्री बताएंगे, उनके लाइफ के बारे में बताएंगे, उनके काम बताएंगे, और अभी क्या कर रहे हैं वही बताएंगे, which I thought was very interesting. So Bloomberg, brilliant ideas, please देखिए. Then Love, Death and Robots. They are not art related, but I love good animation and I love watching good art. And Love, Death and Robots on Netflix is one of those shows which is just inspiring to watch. It has 2 seasons. I think they are working on season 3, but देखते हैं. पर या लाइक लव डेथ एंड रोबोट्स, प्लीज़ चेक इट आउट. इसका पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट ही बहुत सही है कि सारे एनिमेशन स्टूडियोज़ को एक प्रॉम्प्ट दिया गया विच इज़ लव डेथ एंड रोबोट्स. सो ये प्रॉम्प्ट में आप कुछ भी बना सकते हो, आप कुछ भी शॉर्ट फिल्म जैसा बना सकते हो. एंड ईच एपिसोड इज लाइक अ शॉर्ट फिल्म एंड मैन like so psychedelic and mind-bending. It's crazy, but it's very inspiring to watch. So Love, Death and Robots. And same concept, different execution, Star Wars Vision on Hotstar and Disney Plus. So Disney Plus पे Star Wars Vision आता है, which is same idea of like each episode is done by one animation studio. और प्रॉम्प्ट इज स्टार वॉर्स. लाइक आप कुछ भी एपिसोड बनाइए, कुछ भी स्टोरी आप कह सकते हैं, लेकिन ये सब स्टार वॉर्स यूनिवर्स में हो रहा है. एंड एपिसोड 1 इज चुम्मेश्वरी. सो प्लीज चेक दैट आउट. देन इन मूवीज आई हैव Chaplin starring Robert Downey Jr. It's about the life of Charlie Chaplin, but it's done in a really, really well manner. And more than his behind the scene and craft, it talks more about his life and the controversies around it. But I do think it's a very inspiring film because you have artists as the center of this. Trumbo, starring Bryan Cranston, Heisenberg. It's a good movie. It's about Trumbo, the writer, during 50s or 60s US, where communism was considered bad, and Trumbo was blacklisted from American Writers Guild, and nobody was willing to give him work because he was very openly a communist. And but he had the best stories to tell, and he was an amazing screenwriter. So it tells the whole story of like how Trumbo survived his blacklisting, and still like he worked behind the scene, and the pursuit of telling a story, which I think is really amazing. So Trumbo. Then we have cinema. So I wrote cinema here, but it means movies which has nothing to do with art, but those movies are so inspiring to watch, and they are like cinema. 12 Angry Men. It's a very old movie. It's a black and white movie, and the whole movie takes place in a room. But I don't want to spoil it because it's so good. And by the end of the movie, you actually feel what the characters are feeling. And I think that's such a, if that's not genius, I don't know what is. If that's not how you use cinema, I don't know how else would you use it. And we have Yojimbo by Kurosawa. Yojimbo, amazing movie, black and white, but man, that Akira Kurosawa and Yojimbo and all his movies inspired the anime we watch today. It inspired Hollywood. Akira Kurosawa is in a way responsible for Star Wars and Good, the Bad and the Ugly and all those stories and amazing American movies. They are all inspired by the works of Akira Kurosawa. And Yojimbo is one of his most famous movies. And some of the scenes in Yojimbo, even though it's black and white, they look so beautiful. It's just inspiring. भाई goosebump हो रही है, देख लो goosebump. So watch Yojimbo. If this is not a good advertisement, I don't know what is. Watch Yojimbo. Then in animation we have Akira, classic. ज़्यादा spoil नहीं करूँगा मैं Akira को because it's an amazing movie. Rama and the Legend of Prince Ram. Best Ramayana adaptation, anime adaptation ever. So yeah, like watch those. There are a lot of good stuff out there, but yeah, like if you want to watch anything art centric, then yeah, Bloomberg Brilliant Ideas and Abstract is the way to go. Moving on. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Still drawing, painting, or at a desk job, and why? Good question. There's a question which takes me to Abyss, Son of Abyss, and as an artist, it is quite scary to think that way. I remember, I don't want to name any names, but I remember a few years back, there was this art page, or like another YouTuber who was art centric. I'm not gonna take his name, which I used to follow. He made a post on Instagram. It was just a red box, and the question was, artist, what would you like? To fade away or to burn out? And it was so insensitive. It really made me angry. The way he phrased it, the way even the comments, the way some people commented, like that really made me angry. Like, do you really think people have a choice? Do you really think artists have a choice to like fade away or burn out? It's like asking a person, would you like to get fired from your office, or would you like to resign from your office but never get a job again? Like, bro. So that question really pissed me off, because I know people who like burned out and fade away. I know my juniors and some of my seniors, which are amazing artists, amazing work, but they can't afford to continue it. And then you have the audacity to ask this kind of questions, like, what would you like to do? Would you like to fade away or burn out? Yeah. Sad, man. Sad ho gaya man. But to go back to this, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Hope not burn out and fade away. Still drawing. Painting, yeah. And I do have anxiety regarding jobs and especially desk jobs. And I have anxiety about office culture, the corporate culture, all that. A lot of things I don't agree with, or certain practices which I don't feel good about, but they are very common in the industry. Yeah, man. I do have to understand myself and कि मेरे क्या limitations तो word नहीं यूज करूँगा, लेकिन मैं क्या डिजर्व करता हूँ, मेरा नॉलेज कितना है, और क्या मैं सेटिस्फाइड हूँ जो भी रिजल्ट मुझे मिला है अब तक उससे. अगर मैं जॉब कर पाता दैन ये सब नहीं करता, मैं यूट्यूब वो सब कुछ भी नहीं करता. पर जॉब नहीं मिली, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, एंड ऑनेस्टली I'm much happier. It took me some while. Don't get me wrong. Like, so I took my time, collected myself, a whole year, man. Not a whole year, but like a good like 8-10 months मैं jobless रहा. इधर उधर थोड़ी internship की मैंने ये कोशिश में कि शायद वापस मैं एक normal जिंदगी जी पाऊँ. Sounds very dramatic, but it's actually not. But it was very dramatic for me anyway. और उसी दौरान एक मैं उनको मेरा मेंटर मानता हूँ. एक मैम थे. I don't want to take her name for privacy reasons. I respect her privacy. But she really encouraged me कि no, push yourself out there, put yourself out there. There is a printmaking workshop you should go and attend. Or why don't you try your masters in a different country? So ये उसका process है. Why don't you fill this form? She was very kind and encouraging to me, and I'll always be grateful for that. So she said कि एक workshop हो रहा है यहाँ पे print making का. Why don't you join? और एक हफ्ते का workshop था. I joined and fell in love with the medium. Ended up staying there for a good 1 to 2 months, constantly working. And seeing that, my second mentor said, why don't you pursue it? Why don't you do masters in this? Because Baroda has a good program for a masters in printmaking. So I did that. And waiting list में था. Waiting list से फिर entry मिल गई. And I am back to MSU, Faculty of Fine Arts, my dream college. Or my dream university, sorry. And yeah, best 2 years of my life. Learned a lot. So, ये है मेरी कहानी. But yeah, so the point I wanted to make was that I can't do Dex job, but I ended up telling my whole story. I'm really sorry. सह लेना मेरे को थोड़ा. But yeah, man, but where do I see myself in 10 years? Honestly, I don't know. And I don't even want to think about it. Not to sound rude, but I don't want to think about it. I don't want to plan 5 years, 10 years in future. I don't want to do that. Because when you plan a lot of things, you might get disappointed. It's easier and much happier to wake up every day, be grateful that you wake up and just go do your job or whatever you are pursuing. I am pursuing YouTube and my art career, so I'm gonna go for that. Every day I wake up and every day is a choice. And every day you make choices. That's the quote from Man's Search for Meaning. अगर आपने वो वीडियो नहीं देखा है, क्यों नहीं देखा है, please देखिए. So that's the quote from Viktor Frankl's book, Dr. Viktor Frankl. That every day you make choices, and I would much rather wake up every day and make choices rather than plan 10 years ahead and get disappointed when things doesn't go the way they should. So I don't want to think about what would I do in 10 years. देखते हैं जहाँ मंजिल ले चले. Settle the debate, Kavya. Okay. Chill. Did Magritte make a pipe or not? And a lot of question marks and a lot of exclamation points and all caps. Settle the debate. I don't think I'm qualified for that, but did Magritte make a pipe or not? Okay. The question refers to artistic class. The question refers to Treachery of Images by René Magritte. René Magritte is a surreal artist, and I personally love his work, especially his landscape works are amazing and so hauntingly beautiful. And he made Treachery of Images, but he was quite young when he made Treachery of Images compared to his other works and other famous works. And Treachery of Images, it's right here, but for audio listeners, Treachery of Images is actually a painting of a pipe, the classic CID wala pipe, एंड उसके नीचे फ्रेंच में लिखा है दिस इज नॉट अ पाइप. That's it. And the background is like beige color. Like it's a really cool color actually for the background. So yeah, that's the image, that's the painting. So did Magritte make a pipe or not? No, he didn't make the pipe. He painted the pipe. And then underneath he wrote, this is not a pipe. So no, he didn't make a pipe. He painted a pipe. But don't you think that's the real, that's such a boring answer. The real answer is like कि कोई answer ही नहीं है. I ask you a better question. Why Gamora? So, treachery of images, this is not a pipe, is a very fun conversational piece. Because you actually don't want the answer to this. Because the real answer is really boring. It's like the pure logic says, or the Aristotelian logic would say, he didn't make the pipe, he painted the pipe. And Plato would say, I like this work. It talks about idealism. It talks about how there is something otherworldly right out there. I know, too many big words. But the painting, what the painting represents is it's a treachery of images. It's supposed to fool you, or not even fool you. Like that's the whole point. That's where the surreal comes in. Like your reality is elevated. That's surreal, right? So Rene Magritte with this is not a pipe is basically want you to talk about whether this is a pipe or not. This is not a pipe. It's a painting of a pipe. But it's really fun to say, okay, even though he wrote this is not a pipe, is it actually a pipe? But it's not real because you can't use it to smoke. But that means this is not a pipe. And he wrote underneath is not a pipe, but it is a painting of a pipe. So did he actually make the pipe? You know how boring I sound. You know how stupid I am sounding right now. Yeah, that's the fun part. That's what you are supposed to do with that painting. Is to stand in front of it and just talk nonsense. Because that's surreal. Anyway. Moving on. So this is a confession. Well, you just use ink and water for it. Why does it cost so much? A friend who wanted to buy artworks. Wow. Your friend must be so funny at parties. Okay, that's mean. I'm really sorry. But you know what I mean. Wow, you should actually go up to your friend and say, wow, you must be so fun at parties. Because it's a very classic trolling question. Well, you just use ink and water, which is I'm using. I just use paper and ink and a brush. Why does this cost so much? Good confession. But I think your friend was just trolling you because it's a very funny thing to say. Haha, so funny. Yeah, that's what happened. Why am I being mean right now? So the pricing of an artwork. Should I actually talk about this? No. 100 likes and I'll talk about how to price your artworks. A subject which I don't know nothing about. But yeah, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about how to price your artworks. But yeah, if you still want me to talk about it, I'll talk about it. There's still time. Anything goes. But yeah, this is just a classic oh, I can't afford it, so I'm gonna talk trash about it. This is a very classic technique. which a lot of people do. And you know what? Go ahead, sure. Yeah, it's just pen and paper, bro. What is on the paper? This reminds me of Carl Sagan's. There is a reel. I think I saw it last year or a few months back. I'll try to find it. It's a really good piece of monologue that Carl Sagan says about books, and he's like, "Books क्या होते हैं? पेड़ को कुचल के उसके स्किन को निकाल के सब ऐसा प्रेस करके आप एक पेपर बनाते हो। पेपर के ऊपर आप कुछ इंक गिराते हो, डॉट्स गिराते हो, उसको प्रेस करके उसको बांध के किसी की तरफ पहुंचाते हो। आप वो किताब खोलते हो, आप वो डॉट्स को देखते हो, आप वो पैटर्न्स को देखते हो, और एक अलग सी दुनिया बनती है आपके दिमाग में। एंड इफ दैट्स नॉट मैजिक, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज। It's a very beautiful monologue that Carl Sagan says. I'll try to find that video. Description में मैं ज़रूर link करूँगा अगर मुझे मिलता है तो। It's a very beautiful way he describes the power of books and imagination. Okay, the real power of books is in the imagination of the reader, which is so beautiful. Otherwise, books क्या है? पेपर के ऊपर कुछ आपने इंक गिरा दिया। पेंटिंग क्या है? एक कपड़ा है, कपड़े के ऊपर आपने थोड़ा कलर मारा है, पर स्टिल यू फील द मैजिक। मैजिक इज इन द आई ऑफ द beholder. Una mein pretentious. Anyway. But yeah, that's how I feel about this confession. Thank you for sending a confession. But that's how I feel about it. Okay? Art is just magic. Why? It's just some paint on paper or on a piece of cloth, or like some metal or some clay just mashed together, and still it makes you feel something. If that's not magic, I don't know what is. So इसी सुंदर वाक्य के साथ आगे बढ़ते हैं. Why would you buy art or art prints? Question mark. And this is a question which Mr. Sri Hari here asked a few years back. उस time I screenshot ले लिया because it's a very good question and I always wanted to make a video on this. And this is his artwork, by the way. It's like really cool artwork. So check his profile, check him out. भाई बहुत अच्छा illustration करता है. And I answered his question. This was his Q&A, but I answered it saying investment, support, and it looks good and it feels good. तो और एंड में मैं कुछ ऐसा भी लिख दिया था कि long answer some other time in that. And all these years, 3 years later, here we are. But yeah, I always wanted to make a video on this. एंड शायद यही एक तरीका है इस चीज़ पे वीडियो बनाने का. पर आई थिंक आई वुड ऑल्सो मेक सेपरेट वीडियो like really break it down कि what I mean by investment or what I mean by support. Looks good, feels good. Like it's just a style of buying artworks कि अगर आपको एक artwork अच्छा लगता है आप खरीद लेते हो. So it looks good, it feels good. So you should support the artist that way. I would also recommend going to exhibitions, as I said before. मैं personally जब भी कोई एग्जीबिशन में जाता हूँ मैं एक बजट लेके जाता हूँ, और अगर कोई आर्टवर्क मुझे पसंद आता है या फिर कोई आर्टिस्ट मुझे पसंद आता है मैं डायरेक्टली उन्हीं से बात करता हूँ कि ये काम मुझे पसंद है. अगर गैलरी के थ्रू मुझे बाय करना है मैं गैलरी के थ्रू बाय करूँगा अगर मेरे बजट में है तो. पर अगर मेरे बजट में नहीं है तो I wouldn't buy it from the gallery. But I will say good things about it. Like, hey, I really like your artwork, but sorry I couldn't afford it. But at least you got a conversation out of it and an appreciation for the artwork. So it looks good, feels good. The investment part, इज समथिंग जो मुझे भी थोड़ा इन डेप्थ समझना पड़ेगा. मेरी एक बहुत सिंपल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, पर आई डोंट थिंक इट्स इनफ टू मेक अ कंप्लीट वीडियो अबाउट इट. इसलिए मैं अभी इन्वेस्टमेंट वाले पार्ट पे मैं बात नहीं करूँगा. मे बी इन फ्यूचर आई टॉक अबाउट इन्वेस्टमेंट वाला पार्ट. सो लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट्स क्या आप इंटरेस्टेड है आर्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट को लेके कुछ बोलने में. अगेन आई एम नॉट एन एक्सपर्ट इन आर्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट और आई एम नॉट एन आर्ट इन्वेस्टर. आई हैव अ वेरी बेसिक नॉलेज अबाउट buying artworks. Most of the artworks I bought are like mostly are student works and my juniors work जिनको मैं सपोर्ट करना चाहता हूँ, जब जिनका काम मुझे जेन्युइनली पसंद है. But that's my style of collecting artworks or buying artworks. So इन्वेस्टमेंट की नज़र से अगर आप मेरे विचारों को सुनना चाहते हैं तो लाइक कीजिए और कमेंट कीजिए. Moving on. Did you have an imaginary friend? Interesting question. A weird question, but I like it. No, I did not have an imaginary friend growing up. I had imaginary friend, the TV show Shout Out. तो वो शो बहुत देखता रहा. And imaginary friends is like one of those things that you watch on TV और आपको लगता है होना चाहिए मेरा भी कोई imaginary friend. I tried. I like genuinely tried as a kid to have an imaginary friend, but वो idea ज़रा टिका नहीं मेरे head में. But I do find myself talking a lot in my head, and many times it happens that I use the word we and us and ours in my head a lot, rather than I, me, or whatever. But it happens rarely now. But when I was in school or in college, I would always talk in like second person, third person, not third person, but like us, we, in that phrase. So maybe I did have an imaginary friend, and that imaginary friend is me. Hi. But yeah, I didn't have any imaginary friend growing up, not in the traditional sense. But good question. What would you become if it wasn't art? I'm not art. I'm human. If I am not art, then I should become art. Thank you, car honk guy. But what would I become if I wasn't art? Hopefully artist. But I'm just kidding. I know what you are asking. But अगर मैं आर्टिस्ट नहीं बनता, I did thought about this for a while. I did. कि लाइफ कहाँ जा सकती थी. अगर मैं आर्टिस्ट नहीं बनता तो I would have done my BA in German. Interesting fact about me. अगर मैं नौकरी कर पाता, then I would have been a graphic designer, and I would still be operating in whatever office I would be a part of. So if I wasn't art, then I don't know what I would have become. But I do think about it sometimes. पर एक चीज़ वो भी है ना कि यार कितना सोचेंगे पास को लेके. अभी तो हम आर्ट है. मैं भी एक आर्ट पीस हूँ भाई. तो जब अभी हम आर्ट है और आर्ट बन ही गए तो फिर बनते रहते हैं. And last question. Not last question, second last question. Any artwork product available for sale? Yes. What a segue. Wow, why would you ask that? Why would I put this question here? Wow. Yes, I have few things to sell. The big one is the t-shirts. Some t-shirts are still available. 1 second. Sad news by the end of this video. I just realized we have lost all the footage. But it's okay. I'll do something. T-shirts are still available, but most of them are sold out. All thanks to you. Thank you so much for all the support and love throughout this years. Like 3 years मैं YouTube पे नहीं था और मैं मतलब underground हो चुका था. But despite that, आपने support किया, आपने मेरे T-shirts की inquiry की, DM के through भी आपने खरीदा. And my friends, big shout out to Modernist Coffee. They really helped me out during this time, and they are currently hosting my t-shirts in their store, in their cafe, and you can go there and check the t-shirts out for yourself and buy directly from them as well. और आप मुझे DM भी कर सकते हैं if there is any t-shirts you are interested in. But a big note, important note, most of them are sold out. Only few pieces are left. Only few designs are left and only few sizes are left. Black में मेरे पास ज़्यादा अवेलेबल है, ब्लू में मेरे पास ज़्यादा अवेलेबल है, लेकिन पिंक और लाइट ग्रे are almost close to being completely selling out. So yeah, so t-shirts are available. I am working on tote bags. By the time of release of this video, hopefully I will have some designs ready. So please follow me on my Instagram, where I'll keep posting some of the images of like tote bags and any designs that I'm currently working on. So if you want to buy it from there, you can buy it directly from me as well. So yeah, tote bags is in the works. T-shirts are available. What else? Comics are still available, but now I want to do something else with my comics, especially the Koan series. I would like to take it to a different direction. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure about the comics now, but yeah, t-shirts and tote bags are available. Sub-limited edition, I'm not restocking my t-shirts again. Maybe I'll restock the tote bags, but the chances are very low. I think I mostly stick to limited edition merch. So yeah, so t-shirts and tote bags आप इंस्टा के थ्रू में से खरीद सकते हैं. Moving on to our last question. How are you feeling today? Oh, thank you for asking this question. Thank you for asking this question from time to time. Thank you for your friendship. I am very grateful. Yes, I am feeling better. I am feeling amazing. I'm back to doing this. I think that's great. So yeah, I'm feeling good today. Hope you are feeling great as well. And that's it. That's the last of the questions. What a good question to end on. I'm doing good. I hope you all had a great day today and had an amazing time. Thank you so much for chilling with me. Chill time. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. अब मैं शांति से थोड़ा ये ड्राइंग पेरेंट्स करूँगा, पर thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me. I know this was a pretty long video, but most of the chill times are that I designed it that way. that बैकग्राउंड में चलाइए, आराम से सुनिए और चिल मारिए, चिल कीजिए. एंड आई होप कि वाइल आई डिड दिस चिल टाइम आपने भी आर्ट वर्क कुछ बनाया होगा. आप भी आर्ट बनाइए, मैं भी आर्ट बनाता हूँ, साथ में आर्ट बनाते हैं. एंड yeah, that's a chill time. Thank you everyone for watching. This year's goal is 10,000 subscribers. So please like, share, subscribe, and share it with anyone who would like to just chill and really like long form content. So yeah, so share it with anyone who are interested in this kind of videos. And yeah, so happy drawing.